January 1920. Paris. A 35-year-old man lies in a filthy bed in a room with no heat. Beside him, a woman 9 months pregnant, Jeanne Hébuterne, holds his cold hand. He is dying, and she will not survive this. 2 days after the death of Amedeo Modigliani, Jeanne threw herself from the 5th-floor window of her parents' apartment. She was pregnant. The baby did not survive. She was 21 years old. But before you can understand the end, you need to understand who this man was. Because Modigliani was not just a painter. He was a flame that burned so bright it consumed everything around it. Amedeo and Jeanne met in 1917. She was 19. He was 33. She was an art student, quiet, delicate, with dark hair he would paint dozens of times. He was the most eccentric artist in Montparnasse, drunk, scandalous, brilliant. Jeanne fell in love the way that leaves no way out. She followed him through life like a golden shadow. Modigliani painted her face more than any other face in the world. That long neck, those eyes without pupils, that expression only he knew how to create. They had a daughter together. They lived in absolute poverty. Modi drank, coughed blood, sold canvases for a few coins to buy absinthe. And Jeanne stayed. She always stayed. When he died of tubercular meningitis after years of destroying his own body, the world lost one of the greatest painters of the 20th century. But Jeanne lost everything and chose not to go on. She never got to know that weeks later, Modigliani would be recognized at one of the most important exhibitions in Europe. The acknowledgement he never had in life came too late. Amedeo Clemente Modigliani was born in 1884 in Livorno, Italy. A bourgeois, Jewish, educated family. The kind of cradle he would spend his entire life rejecting. From childhood, tuberculosis haunted his body. At 14, in the grip of a fever, he asked to be taken to the museum. His mother thought it was a final wish. It wasn't. He studied in Florence, then went to Venice. There he discovered hashish, and with it, a philosophy. True art is born only from chaos. Limits exist to be crossed. That was his signature and his sentence. In 1906, he arrived in Paris at 22. Absinthe, hashish, filthy rooms. He painted furiously during the day, over 100 sketches in a single session. At night, he destroyed himself. He would sometimes appear naked at parties in Montparnasse. It wasn't madness, it was a statement. Picasso was his friend. Rivera, Max Jacob, Juan Gris sat for him. The greatest names of modernism admired him and imitated his chaos as though it were the only path. His work fit no category, not impressionism, not cubism, not expressionism. It was simply Modigliani. And the market had no idea what to do with it. Jeanne Hébuterne was not just Modigliani's muse. She was a painter. She studied at the École des Arts Décoratifs in Paris. She had a voice of her own, lyrical, intimate, disturbingly quiet. She painted landscapes, self-portraits, still lifes, and she painted Modigliani. There is a portrait she made of him, rare, almost secret, where he appears with that distant gaze she knew better than anyone. One of the only images where the observer and the observed exchange places. But the world never looked at her that way. Beside Modi, Jeanne became a shadow. She abandoned her own studio, her own voice. She chose to be the canvas onto which he projected the world. And when he was gone, she did not know how to be anything else. Look at any portrait by Modigliani. There is something wrong with the eyes. There are no pupils. They are almond-shaped, oblique, opaque, as though they are looking toward a place that does not exist in this world. Some say it was the influence of the African masks he collected. Others say it was a deliberate choice to strip the subject of a window to the soul, to turn them into a mythic, timeless presence. But the version that persists is different. Modigliani said he would only paint someone's eyes when he truly knew their soul. In a handful of paintings, rare exceptions, he did paint the pupils. They say those were the people he truly loved. Jeanne Hébuterne has pupils in some of them. In 1917, his only exhibition during his lifetime was shut down by the police on the very day it opened. A scandal. They were real bodies, not goddesses, not allegories. Women who looked straight at you without asking permission. He also sculpted limestone heads, serene and unsettling, as though they were sleeping upright, waiting for something that would never come. On January 24th, 1920, Modigliani died. Tuberculosis, meningitis, destitution. He was 35. Weeks later, the prize he never received arrived, recognition that his work was among the most original in Europe. Too late. The dealers who had refused his canvases paid fortunes for them shortly after. Today, they are worth hundreds of millions. 9 novels, 3 films, a stage play have been made about him. And still, something in him escapes, resists being captured. Modigliani once said, "I would like my life to be like a rich river flowing joyfully over the earth." But it was more like a flame, fast, intense, and when it went out, it took everything around it along. Whoever knows Modi never looks at a face the same way again, or at a shadow. If this video moved you, hit like and subscribe. Every week there's a story like this one, of art, of genius, and of everything the world almost forgot.